officials in Russia have decided to ban certain imagery that they have deemed extremist. Now, the imagery mostly pokes fun at Vladimir Putin because it has been altered to make him appear as though he's wearing lipstick. So let's take a look at the image. Extremist.
Wow.
Yeah. So
God, they're so thin-skinned.
They are. Although Putin is alleging that he has no problem with this image.
No, of course not.
But if politicians pass certain laws, then the people have to abide by the law. Now it's a list of extremist materials focusing on content relating to the war in Syria, parody images of Russian officials, including at least one of Putin and Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev in Nazi uniforms. So posting the image of Putin with makeup edited onto his face now carries equal punishment to sharing other extremist images online, a maximum punishment of up to 15 days in prison. That's insane.
Yeah, so this is what a lot of the right-wing authoritarian leaders do. You're not allowed to criticize the dear leader. And if you do caricatures, well, that gets under their skin even more. So Erdogan did the same thing in Turkey. Like if you even doodle on his picture, like, oh, it's a national emergency, right? How dare you, the beloved leader must be cherished at all times. It's really gross. In Syria, Michael Isikoff went to go interview Bashar al-Assad. There's all sorts of pictures of Assad everywhere, in different outfits, comically in a military outfit, in a businessman outfit, etc. This is all the cult of personality.
Yes.
And it's right-wing authoritarian way of thinking. What's sick is that it works for a lot of humans who are like, oh, dear leader, I will not oppose you.
Right, so look, Trump is also guilty of this. I mean, they haven't banned imagery that pokes fun at him yet, but his White House currently has numerous pictures on the wall. Like right after the inauguration, there were images of the crowds on the walls of the White House. And so I forget which reporter he was talking to, but a reporter was talking to him and he couldn't get enough of the pictures of his inauguration. He's like, oh, look at the crowds, look at the, and it's all false because we know that the crowd wasn't as large as previous crowds with previous inaugurations. It's just creepy and weird, and it's insane to see people, especially men in such high positions of power, having such thin skin and wanting to have their egos stroked so badly.
You know what they sound like, Anna? Special little snowflakes.
Yeah, definitely.
And Trump is maybe the specialist of them all. He doesn't yet have the power that Putin and Erdogan do in their countries. But SNL makes fun of him. He loses it, can't stand it. Earlier today, I did a story about how Steve Bannon's losing power inside the White House because SNL portrayed him as the real president. And I got so under Donald Trump's skin. Alec Baldwin mocks when does that thing, right? And Trump is like, oh, SNL, you're so not funny, I hate you. And he threatens CNN all the time. Another story in the press today about how after one of the presidential debates, Trump sent Zucker a threatening note about how I made you and I'll remember my enemies and you know that I always get even. A guy who's gonna be president, could you imagine if Obama sent a note to CNN saying, I'll get even with you guys? What? That would have been unimaginable. But since Donald Trump is an authoritarian, thin-skinned, clownish snowflake, he does that all the time and we've now gotten used to it. And what's really sad is his followers who are like, oh, dear leader, take my banana. You're right, no one should ever insult you or in any way make fun of you, dear leader. Young Turks membership creates independent media.
Believe me.
No ads.
Believe me.
All the shows.
Believe me.
On demand.
Believe me.
Support independent media.
Believe me.
It's awesome, tremendous, you'll love it.
Believe me.
And by the end, you'll be thinking,
I'm like a smart person.
tytnetwork.com/join.